Hello, friends and families. This week we were in Central and South Africa, rounding out the end of our Africa trip. It's been a great 4 to 8 weeks here that we've been doing. It's been just an absolute dream. Saw a lot of the continent, saw a lot of great places. This one was a fun one. So this week we tend to focus on a couple things, you know, just kind of hone in everything because there's a lot of countries to talk about.
And she's only 6.
And she's only 6. And so this week we kind of focused on 2 things, basically South Africa and the Nelson Mandela apartheid story, as well as a little bit of the nature, kind of bringing nature back into it. And we touched a little, had a nice little documentary that we did on Disney Plus through the Nat Geo section. So we'll get into it. Let's get into the books. Yeah. This is the Torchlight or the Build Your Library recommendation.
Maybe the Build Your Library recommendation.
So this is Nelson Mandela's favorite African folktales.
Yeah, it's just a whole collection of folktales. You know that we're not usually into the folktales. This one we rather liked, though. We didn't read, I will confess, we did not read all of them, but we read a number of them, and they were all pretty darn good. They didn't tend to have too much weird folktale stuff in the ones that we read. So of all the folktale books we read, I think this might have been one we enjoyed the most. So anyway, check it out from your library. See if your family is into folktales or not.
Were they long, like a couple pages, or?
Yeah. They had them in all different lengths, but it was nice because we could choose ones that kind of however much time that we had, and so yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good overall.
Absolutely. Step into reading. We had one last week. We talked about the ballerinas this week. Kind of well-known guy, Nelson Mandela.
Right. So this is the Step Into Reading series is so nice because it's very short. It gives kind of the level of information that, you know, a child of this age could really uptake. Even though she didn't read it, I read it to her. So good. All these books are good. And it was a good lead-in. It's got some good artwork in it too.
Yeah. Nice watercolors.
It has a good lead into the next book that we read, which is just called, I think it's
Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, this is the front actually.
This is the front.
Oh yeah, it's Nelson Mandela's on the back. So this has really great art as well, and this is just a kind of a richer version of his story than the Step Into Reading version. We liked them both. I think that if I could only read one, we would probably read this one. But I liked them to go together because it was nice for her to get kind of all the facts down, and then for this one to really expand upon it. So I think that they worked well together.
Absolutely. We actually had a couple Jan Brett books. I mean,
these are always so beautiful.
They're so beautiful. So this one is the Honey Honey Lion. So basically it's a kind of a trickster tale. A honey badger and a honey guide, a little bird. The honey guide helps lead the honey badger to the honey, and the honey badger didn't want to share any of the spoils with the honey guide, and so he was then, the honey guide then tricked him to drag him all the way to the lion, and the lion chased him home.
Ooh, I love it when there's something that pops out.
Yeah, it's a nice little pop out there. Really cool little cute story. Again, pulling in the animals of the region, pulling in back in that wildlife. Really fun little tale. I think she was playing Legos while I was reading it, and she was like, "Dad, can you show me those pictures while you're reading that? I want to see more of that." And because the drawings are so beautiful, Jan Brett does such a great job. We have a number of
we've had ones from all over the world from Jan Brett. She's really prolific.
We've had a few holiday themed ones that we own personally for the holidays, but just beautiful drawings. And then it goes right into the next one, which was, I don't know, we've debated Dassies or Daisies.
I think it's Three Little Dassies.
Three Little Dassies. So in essence, this was a retelling of the Three Little Pigs story. So these 3 little Dassies leave their home to go find a new place, but they need to avoid this evil eagle. And so they built one out of straw, one out of sticks, a house out of sticks, and then a house out of bricks. And so it unfolds the same story, but a little bit different. It's a little bit of a twist. So it's not the exact same story, but basically the same story. And it was very cute. Again, the artwork is beautiful. Really cool thing. And
it's
again,
worth it just for the art.
Pulling in the wildlife. And I think what I liked at the end of this one most was it actually showed the animals that she had, you know, basically anthropomorphized into her story, and the gecko that was also in the story was there, and talking about how these creatures actually work together in the ecosystem. So it was really cool, like kind of story at the end where she kind of like here's a little bit of an actual biology lesson. So it was really cool.
Yeah, I love these Jan Brett books, especially because even if your child can't read yet, that they can just have such a great time looking at all these beautiful pictures.
They're gorgeous. They're works of art. I mean,
they really are.
It's right up there with like kind of like a Graham-based type of book where you just want to have them in the house.
Yeah.
Next, Ready to Read, Living in South Africa. We've recommended these a number of times. We really, really like these books.
All the living in books, they're all good.
Yeah.
It tells the story of a child and their life, where they go to school, what they eat, what their parents do for a living, what they do for fun, all of it in a really easy to understand way for young children.
Yeah.
Of all of the nonfiction books that go country to country, this series, of which there's I think 20 books, is the best series.
Does a really good job kind of bringing in the apartheid and kind of the conflict in here nicely.
It gave a nice little bit of history about that.
That, talking about like he learns about that in his history, and so it was something interesting to learn, and that kind of nice lead into the general apartheid stories, which you have here, The Soccer Fence.
Yes, this is really good. This is a book about a child who loves to play soccer, and he's an African child, and when he goes with his parent maybe, who might clean houses or do some other service job, he ends up going to like the white side of town, and they won't even look across the fence at him, and they won't let him play. They won't even acknowledge his presence, and it shows as things slowly change in the apartheid story, how it starts to be looser, and then they acknowledge that he exists, but they still won't invite him to play. And eventually, South Africa is in the World Cup for soccer, and they find that it just brings both sides together. At the end, they're all playing together, and they're all playing as their favorite players, and so it just kind of shows, a child's view of apartheid, and then it slowly easing until the end of the story, when there's this hopeful, unification of the two sides. So absolutely. I thought it was a great story. So if you want to touch on apartheid, I think this is a really good one for young kids to understand, and something that they can kind of uptake.
Yeah. Nice list of books here that kind of flow across without getting too, kind of above their head on a lot of the details. Just kind of, 10,000 foot view of what actually happened. So I liked that way of approaching this story, and it allowed us to ask her questions and then fill in those answers for what she was interested in.
It's nice when you can see it from like that child's perspective, and
absolutely.
How it affected their life.
We don't edit these podcasts. I dropped the book.
He was a little too excited.
I was too eager. Okay. Last one we had was The Great Cake Mystery. This is a story set in Botswana.
This is the #1 ladies detective agency, which there's, I guess, a show made, and I have not seen the show. But yeah, this is the first book.
To be honest, we only got the first 2 chapters, and then we had to, we just got really busy for the rest of the week. It was really, really good. We weren't able to finish it.
We planned to finish it, but we had to record this video. So we wanted to talk about it because what we had done so far was really good, and it has great reviews and things on Amazon. Yeah. So I think this is probably a good section.
And it was not, obviously we did a lot of South Africa stuff, but this was a nice little Botswana. It was just a little to the north. Botswana, based there as well. So
there's a number of these books too, I think.
Number of these as well. So we just wanted to recommend this if you're looking for something that's a little bit different, maybe off the beaten path. This was really good. As far as we read it, it was enjoyable.
Yeah, we still have more to read.
Well, what can you do? I'm just pacing around the kitchen table while I'm reading, and they're playing Legos
steps.
all day.
I can't do that, but you can do it.
Gotta get my steps. Anyway, so from there, from the books, we went into the movies, which we did not have any. We did not do any of those.
Any fiction movies.
Fiction movies, but we did do a documentary, and so we're going to bend that in. So on Disney Plus, in the Nat Geo section, is a wonderful documentary based in Botswana. It's Into the Okavango. Absolutely beautiful documentary. Absolutely wonderful, rich. The cinematography and the camera work is really just great. Breathtaking. Talking about basically this huge inland delta as the rains come and the river kind of empties into this very low-lying area. It creates this enormous lake, and all these animals and creatures and birds and everything, and there's these researchers there, and it talks a lot about the research and a lot of the climate effects that they're seeing, and a lot of the impacts to the nature, to the wildlife, to the animals, to the surrounding area, to the people who depend on that area, especially for the fishing, hunting and whatnot, and even insofar as the conservation that goes along in that area. So just a very rich documentary, absolutely beautiful. Would recommend it 100%. It's on Disney Plus in the Nat Geo section, and you will find a lot of other really amazing documentaries on the Kalahari. I think they have there as well. So if you're looking for something in this region, they have it there. It's wonderful. Enjoy. Yeah, go pick it out. Now for food.
Yeah, so we made the mealy meal bread, which
Yep.
is the food from South Africa in the Cooking Class Global Feast book. I would not recommend. It's cornbread, y'all. It's just cornbread. There wasn't anything particularly interesting or different. We made it, and my daughter was like, "So, are you making chili, Mom?" Or
Yeah, we're doing
like
chili.
it just.
We normally put chili with our cornbread. So.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think that it would be better to find a different recipe. It wasn't bad, but I would just say it just didn't have anything to us that was appreciably different than what we would normally have at home.
Yep.
So
that was South Africa. That rounds out our Africa
we're done with
tour.
Africa.
It was an absolutely amazing journey. We loved it. We loved everything about it. It was very enriching.
We learned just
A ton.
a heck of a lot. Yeah, we
Heck of a
really
lot.
did.
We'd spend more time if you had time. Do it. There's a lot of great documentaries out there that if your kids are into the animals, these are the big animals. We love them. Rhinos, hippos, elephants. They're all there for you. Giraffes. They're all there for you. So definitely take a look at it. Especially with the documentary with the Okavango, you're definitely going to have a lot of fun there.
Yeah.
But that was South Africa. We're moving on.
Yeah.
Going on to Australia.
New Zealand, Oceania, really.
Oceania,
so we're going to
yeah.
be spending a few weeks doing that. So we will see you back here. So stay tuned as we're wrapping up. We've got that. And then we'll be in Antarctica and the Arctic. And that's going to be it. We're going to have a bunch of wrap-up videos and things.
So we're going
to talk about spines and build your library versus Torchlight and which one we liked more. And we got a lot of stuff. So stay tuned with us and keep on going with your journey around the world.
See you guys.